everybody. My name is Dave Lynch. I'm the city manager here for the city of Newton Falls, Ohio. Welcome to another morning briefing regarding the COVID-19 activity that's taking place here in Newton Falls. The governor has his press conference at 2 o'clock Monday through Friday, and the president's task force certainly has their briefings that take place usually towards the end of the day with Dr. Anthony Fauci. And one of the things that we want to make sure of is that here in Newton Falls, you've got access to some local information. The COVID-19 has been affecting all of us differently. We've talked to officials from the schools, from different agencies, from the police and the fire. And one of the things we've also looked at is the way it's affected our businesses, the way they've had to operate differently, from places that provide food to people that are in manufacturing. But one of the things we've done a little bit differently here in Newton Falls is we have gone to a situation in which we are asking people to wear masks as they are a customer in a retail establishment. Some notices have been put up all around town, and the compliance level has really been great. There are a few people that don't want to comply and just aren't complying. And by the way, the requirement that you wear a mask as a customer also has with a proviso that if for a medical reason you cannot wear a mask, well then you don't have to if that's the case. What we want to do is make sure that as many people are protected as possible. Remember, it's the droplets that emanate from your nose and your mouth for which you need a barrier, that's the mask, that will infect some other person. In fact, you can infect someone and not even know you're doing it because, as the scientists are telling us, a lot of folks are what they call asymptomatic. That is, they may be carrying the virus but showing no signs or difficulty whatsoever. And then the water droplets from their mouth or their nose spray outward as they talk. When I was a kid, we used to have some very lugubrious talkers, and we used to say to them, "Say it, don't spray it." Well, that should be the slogan when it comes to the COVID-19. Wear your mask so that you can say it and not spray it on other people. But as it relates to this, what I also want to mention to you is that I want to make sure that the communication that takes place is the kind of thing that's done in a gentle, really social pressure kind of situation. What I mean by that is we are not trying to have an authoritarian state. A couple of days ago, the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot, was using a heavy foot. And what I mean by that is she took to the airwaves in Chicago and said, if you violate their laws about sheltering in and social distancing, that she said, we will arrest you. We will take you to jail. That's not the right approach. The citizens of Newton Falls are very responsible people, and we are not arresting people. That's the wrong way to approach it. And we haven't had to issue any citations whatsoever. We've gotten a pretty good level of cooperation, and the reason for that is people care for each other. Now, there are those that have this give me liberty or give me death or don't make me wear a mask kind of concept to them on a personal basis. And we don't want to fight with you. We don't want to arrest you. We're not going to arrest you. But I think people will look at you and ask why you don't care about others. And that social pressure is the most effective enforcement that we can have. Well, in Newton Falls, we've done a lot of talking about the effect on our businesses. And one of our really outstanding businesses that's had to muddle its way through the COVID-19 crisis is the automotive business, that is the automotive repair business. And right there in Newton Falls is a place called the Car Clinic, run by Jamie Layfield, who's on the line right now. Good morning, Jamie. How are you?
Good morning. Good, thank you. How are you?
Great. It's great to have you on the line. So how has someone who repairs automobiles, and let's face it, you are not a 10 garage operation with 50 mechanics working for you. How have you been able to survive during the COVID-19?
Fairly well. We've had a few slow times, and currently we're quite busy. Being a little bit smaller has actually been advantageous for us because we're dealing with less folks at one time. We're able to schedule folks in sections away from each other for time slots. But no, it's been a little slow, now quite busy. People are getting back on their feet a little bit more, so that's been helpful.
Sure. I imagine because you're a small operation, you can essentially almost see people by appointment, one car at a time. And does that help with the social distancing?
Yes, very much. Yeah, very much so. Um, Incidentally, it's been very tough on my wife, Diana, who is the office manager there. I can say this with her permission, she has a thyroid disease that has created an immunity deficiency within her. So she is at very high risk should she contract this virus. She's literally had to stay home to be totally away from any type of exposure. And I also have to be extra careful to not bring anything home to her. With us being a little smaller and able to schedule accordingly, that's helped quite a bit. It's kind of neat also because I've been communicating with customers from the actual shop bay where the customer can stand slightly outside. So I can stand halfway in the bay and communicate well and effectively. And that's one adjustment that we've made that actually helps this situation out. But yeah, we have to be very careful like everyone else.
Sure. Years ago, when I was in early years of college, I worked at an automobile repair facility. And one of the things I always noticed that the really good mechanics at the end of the day, they wash their hands like madmen, almost like a surgeon getting ready to do brain surgery. And so I'm guessing, Jamie, that in the automobile repair business, the concept of really washing your hands before you go home is not a foreign concept.
True, many times a day with some very strong soaps and solvents. We're pretty clean.
Yeah, well,
Clean
you
by
have to
nature.
be. You have to
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I know that it took about 6 months after I stopped working at that gas station before all the black that of the oil and grease that penetrated under my skin finally went away. But actually, I kind of miss those days. Jamie, now your facility there, is it a kind of a soup to nuts kind of a thing? In other words, oil change all the way to replacing an alternator and all the various complexities?
Yes, sir. Oil changes all the way up to engine changes, slight engine repair, and the full gamut. A lot of diagnostics and everything in between there.
Yeah. As far as the COVID-19 is concerned, one of the things we're asking all our businesses is how is the supply chain? We've had issues where we've been watching what's been going on in the food supply chain. When you're trying to get a car fixed, has the COVID-19 interrupted your ability to get the parts?
Very good question. And thankfully, we've had a lot of support from our customers. That is spot on. We have been experiencing some delays, particularly from dealerships. When certain parts are only available through a dealership, there can be somewhat of an extended waiting period. Some dealerships have been closed, so literally for a couple of weeks now, I have a couple of vehicles where I have no answer to even try to ask for a part. So it's been tough on that one. Fortunately, it hasn't affected the customers very much with them having spare vehicles and such. But yeah, that's definitely been a little bit of a problem with the logistics of getting parts.
Yeah, Jamie, some of the parts market, I've seen what they call the secondary market or even the tertiary market. And some of these parts are coming from places like China. Is the
Hmm.
fact of all the apprehension about things coming out of China affected your ability to get parts from the tertiary market at all?
A little, not too much. We're thankful for that. Um, we do communicate with a lot of other shops, and in some of the other segments, they have had some issues. Fortunately, we haven't too much. Um, but we are also in the process of exhausting uh, the nation's stock before things can be replenished. So there is a chance that we haven't hit the shortages yet, and they may be in the near future coming to us. But so far, so good in the aftermarket part world. A little bit of delivery, a little bit of delivery times have been thrown off. It takes a little longer to get parts, but overall they've done well. They've changed their logistics quite well and done the best that they can. But we also have to have our reserves built back up in
Sure.
that area. So,
Sure. You know, Jamie, one of the questions that I was pondering was the fact that the automotive industry has essentially shut down in terms of making new cars. Has that created more of an environment where it's more likely people are going to come to you and say, look, I was thinking of getting a new car, but they're not making them, they're not selling them. And so the idea of turning to someone such as yourself to breathe new life into an older vehicle is a more common situation.
right. Yes, it so far has become that. Folks do have to rely on Old Faithful to keep them going, and that's for sure. And in fact, in ways, we're one of them. But yeah, that should actually help the automotive repair industry in itself right there. I've seen some job costs increase actually because there's more wrong with the vehicle than what it comes in for.
Ah,
So folks are getting to where they need to trade their car in and really are resistant to do so. Folks are saving more money and only buying essentials more so today too. I can see that one. So that will help our industry some, I do believe, and it has so far.
sure, sure. Jamie, tell people where you're located here in Newton Falls.
We are at the corner of Warren Road and Main Street at 900 Warren Road.
And we've put your number on the screen, 330-872-3493. And Jamie, do you check that number during off hours as well, just in case somebody has a what they think is an emergency, but something that needs to be responded to quickly?
Yeah, we at least have messaging available, voicemail and such available. We do offer towing into our location for repair needs. That actually helps distance us from people quite a bit. We can just go hook the car up and
Sure.
bring it to our shop if needed.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Smith, you go home, we'll go get the car, and nobody gets hurt.
yeah, right.
All right. Well, Jamie, that's great. It sounds like even the auto repair industry, like so many of our different industries we've talked to here in Newton Falls, they are finding a way to survive, and hopefully we'll be opening up the economy a little bit more. Well, Jamie Layfield from the car clinic, you know, oftentimes it's just called Layfields, and that's because of the good name you've built up here in Newton Falls. Thanks for your hard work and keeping the economy going, Jamie. Thanks for your help.
Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
All right. Be at peace and good health. That is Jamie Layfield, one of our outstanding businesses in town. And at this time, we're going to make a phone call to another party. Honestly, this is the first time this has happened. I'm not sure we're not going to get a voicemail. If we are, we'll just have a shorter program, and we'll see if we can get through to this individual that we were going to talk to this morning. And this reminds me of Lily Tomlin. She used to say, one more ringy dingy, two more ringy dingies. We'll see what happens here.
Your call has been forwarded
Well,
to
folks,
an automatic voice message.
I'm glad it's not a contest line, you know, where Mr. Smith realizes that he had a chance to pick up the phone and win $1 million. Well, that's not the case here. It's the case where the guest is just not available, and we'll rectify that by having some further conversations. But that brings us to the end, therefore, to another one of the morning briefings here in Newton Falls. Thanks to Jamie Layfield. Thanks to all the businesses that are working hard to stay open. You know, some of the businesses have had a pause in operations, but then they've knuckled under and figured out a way to reopen. I'll give you an example. The Main Moon Chinese restaurant there, right down from the Shop and Save, they were closed for a period of time. Now they're open again. The Subway sandwich shop over there near the covered bridge was closed for a period of time. Now they're open again. And the governor is taking actions to help other businesses get open again as well. And so you understand there's a target date for the end of the masking in Newton Falls. We are watching what's going on in terms of the reopening of the economy, and I've got a feeling things are going to loosen up quite a bit in the next few weeks. So be patient, be in prayer, and as I say at the end of each one of these broadcasts, God bless America and God bless the city of Newton Falls.